A lot of people have been asking us in every single video, have we moved to New York?
Or aren't you in New York?
No, we're still in Sacramento. We mentioned in that video that we made a long time ago, I think it was over a year ago now, that the plan was to stay in Sacramento until 2026 because that's the year that our son is going to be old enough to get into kindergarten.
Yes, that's his kindergarten age. He's going to start school, the official school, where we're going to be locked into the school system.
Right now, we have houses in our neighborhood that have been in the market for, I don't know, 3 months, some of them. And a lot of these homeowners are starting to realize that the housing market is not a seller's market. They've been having to lower the price of their homes. In some cases by $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Some cases as much as $100,000 because there's people that list their homes in our neighborhood for like 1 million plus.
Yeah.
There's not too many buyers that are willing to pay over $1 million for a house when their mortgage is probably going to be like $7,000, $8,000 a month. At a time like this, when the interest rates are between 6 and 7%, there's no way. If in 2026, when we're supposed to be listing our house, we look at the homes in our neighborhoods that are for sale, if they've been for sale for several months and haven't been able to like sell their homes, we're gonna reconsider listing our home and we might stay here a little bit longer. Trust me, guys, we don't plan to be here forever. That is not the goal at all. But we're not gonna make a stupid financial mistake just because we've been dying to go back to New York. So we will keep the house until it makes financial sense to sell it. And there could be a situation in which we'll keep the house and still move to New York. Possibly, but we don't know if that's gonna happen. It also depends on a lot of other things because we need to talk about like what we've been doing with our lives because we have not spoken to you guys about our personal life in over, what, like, I don't know, 8 months, more than that.
We don't do vlogs as much as
we used to do home tours, which was fun, but that's kind of exhausting too. You have to book an appointment in some cases.
I think it's also because the app is taking a lot of your time.
That's true. So that's what I wanted to get into. Back in October of 2024, I used all of the income that I generated from the course that we created to help nurses move to Northern California. And I put it into the development of an app. The app is called Map My Pay. For anyone who's interested, you can just go on the App Store, the Google Play Store, and you can download it. It's only available in certain regions. And we are trying to get it on a website, like a web application. So if you want to visit our website, eventually you will see the app version on our website. That's what we're working on now. But it's cost me a lot of time, a lot of money. I have a co-founder and I'm going to interview her next week.
Oh, I'm so excited for this one because, oh my God.
Yeah.
So can we say her name?
Yeah,
So her name is Sumit, okay? And oh, she is so badass. I'm so excited for this interview. I want to know everything. I want to know all the numbers. And usually finances bore me, but I'm super curious about this girl because she is such an inspiration. And I feel like her beliefs and our beliefs, everything just aligned with ours. She is the perfect co-founder. I think we found the best person. Yeah,
she is the real deal. She keeps track of our finances. And you know me, that's something that I usually do. But when there's a transaction that happens in our Chase account, she'll message me and she's like, what's this transaction for? And usually I'm the one that's doing that, but she's the one that's been keeping on top of it. But she is also the one that's bankrolling this entire operation, the whole business. I put in, again, we're all about transparency, right? So Monica and I haven't used our personal income yet, up until recently. But from the business side, though, we have contributed $22,000 to $26,000. And then Sumit has contributed almost $40,000 at this point. And she's willing to go all the way.
She got it like that. I'm telling you, this girl, she is rich.
I told her that I wanted to raise funds from our supporters. And she doesn't want to do that, and I understand why. If we do that, we have to give away really large portions of our company, which is not even generating any income at the moment. I'll give you an example. If you wanted to get a share of Amazon, one share is meaningless because the company itself is valued at trillions at this point. But let's say the share price is $1,000, but the company's worth trillions, then you as a shareholder of that company, you have no voice. But let's say the company is worth $10,000. Let's say you have $1,000 worth of shares. That means you own 10% of the company. So we're gonna try to stay away from raising funds for a very long time. And I also talked about the Epic founder. Her name is Judith Faulkner. You guys need to look her up.
You are really invested in this.
Oh my gosh.
Her story.
So she got her bachelor's degree in mathematics and her master's in computer science. She was so intrigued by like the way records are kept. So she started thinking about a way to maintain records in the healthcare setting. So she created kind of like a ledger to save medical records. And she did this by raising some money from her family. I believe it was her parents. She raised about $70,000. And she worked in her basement trying to develop this software on her own. Up until this point, she has not raised a single dime from any private investor, no venture capitalist, nothing. Last year, Epic, the charting system that we use, the electronic charting system, was able to generate, I believe it was something like $4 billion. And this year, it's on track to generate about $5.6 billion. And she doesn't owe anyone else a dime other than her employees and, obviously, like any operational costs. And that's what Sumit wants to do with Map My Pay. And let me talk to you about what our app does. So if you guys watched our videos from early on, you'll probably see that we have spreadsheets that I talked about. What I did was when Monica and I moved to California, we didn't know what the cost of living was like in California. We thought everything was expensive. We thought there was no way anybody could afford a home in California. So I went online and I looked at not just the housing costs and the cost of living, but the salaries for nurses in the area. I started looking at different contracts, and that's something that we will eventually implement in the app. But I also started looking at the salaries the Bureau of Labor Statistics puts out. Some of these salaries are, let's say, for example, in Oakland, San Francisco, they're all registered nurse salaries. I calculated the after-tax income to see how much nurses could have in all these cities. I'm like, wow, San Francisco pays so much money, and so does Oakland. But when you factor in the cost of living, you have nothing left. That's why when Monica and I went to San Francisco, the second time we visited California, we were like, wow, it would be really nice to live in San Francisco. All these Victorian style homes, the landscape, the architecture was beautiful.
City life too.
Yeah. City life, it kind of reminded us a little bit of New York, but in my opinion, it was very picturesque. You look at the mountains that were nestled amongst the Golden Gate Bridge, but we started looking at the home prices and we're like, there's no way we could afford that, even on this high nurse's salary.
I don't think we even fathom living there. We're like, oh yeah, no, we can't afford this.
Yeah, so exactly, we couldn't. So we decided to drive to our friend's home in Roseville, and I just posted a video about it recently, but we drove to our friend's home in Roseville who had purchased a 4,000 square foot home for $650,000. So I started looking at all this data, created spreadsheets around it, and started selling them. And then nurses were like, wow, this is really useful information. What about the rent prices? What about the crime? And over time, I realized maybe I should do something different. And that's why I decided to come up with this app. I pitched the idea to a few coworkers at my job, and they were shocked by the fact that this doesn't exist yet. There are apps out there and there are websites that allow nurses to see how much they make, but there aren't any that show them how much they have left over after they factor in their cost of living.
This is pretty much comprehensive.
Yeah. In the app, we have a community so nurses can share their experiences there. We also have an investment calculator. Guys, this is like a bare bones app. Trust me, there are so much that we want to add to it. We will list jobs for nurses. For example, we have a map on there where you can see the hospitals in your area or anywhere in the US and see what the median salary is for the city that hospital is located in, the cost of living. And then my goal is to add salaries for those specific hospitals and add job listings within those hospitals. Because if you're browsing our app, what's the point of you just seeing the cost of living but not seeing the jobs that are available in the area? These are the kinds of things that we want to add. We want to really personalize it. But that's what we've been doing. I've had almost no time for anything else. And as you can see, I feel like the YouTube channel has kind of suffered as a result because I haven't been able to post as much as I used to.
It's a lot for one person.
Yeah. Let's talk about your job. Are you getting enough hours?
No.
No.
So yeah, basically there are no overtime shifts, and I feel like they just keep cutting costs, and like there's just not much availability for per diem nurses. So usually I would take a traveler's template, which is a guaranteed set of shifts for like a 13-week period. But this upcoming fall, there's no availability. So basically I just have to ad hoc in, like a true on-call. If there's a necessity, they need a nurse for a telemetry floor or med-surg floor, I can just keep an eye out for the messages and emails. They say, hey, we need a nurse for tonight. Then I'll say, hey, I can come in. And if I get picked based on seniority, I can come in to work. But I hate doing it like that. I really enjoyed the couple of years that I've been a per diem because I was getting a lot of shifts. But this past 3 years, it's been super dry, which brings me to a point that Jason and I were just talking about the other day. I am so glad, pat on my back, that we paid off our debt, because if we did not, then I would be so desperate right now.
That's true.
Try and work and do OT and do what the rest of these nurses are doing at Kaiser. I'm sorry, sorry, not sorry. But that's what, they are so heavily reliant on these extra shifts. But I don't want to live my life that way. And I just want to do the bare minimum, whatever I can do to help with the household and whatnot, and with the kids.
And you know what? Being that she didn't get that many shifts this year, we ended up going to the Philippines in the beginning of the year.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Then we went to New York for 3 weeks and Canada. Then we came back. Then we went to Georgia a week later for a week.
We just got back from another vacation. We went to New York and Curacao.
Yeah.
And we brought, and these are trips that we brought family with us, that we paid, the expense was paid, like the flights and the accommodation. And then Jason dropped a bomb on me like last week, which is like so unusual of him to do this, but he's like, oh, you want to go to Hawaii? I'm like, I'm usually the one asking you to go on trips.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit burnt out. We just got back from the last trip, and he's like, you want to go to Hawaii? And I'm like, sure, why not? And he goes, okay, we're going. And it's like 2 weeks from now. Like,
well, here's the thing. We have family who wanted to come visit us.
no, I mean, I can't say no to a vacation.
Of course you can't. But we have family that wanted to come and visit us in California. And I figured we're only going to be in California for a very short length of time. We only have a year.
And we love Hawaii.
Yeah.
And Hawaii is such a gem. We're so grateful that we live close. Well, even when we lived in New York, we would go to Hawaii.
So the way I viewed it was, if we all go to Hawaii together, then we can split the cost. So we're splitting the cost of the car rental, which was only, and the time that we're going, it's very inexpensive to go, because the car rental is only $235 for an entire week. And then the hotel is costing us $1,300 in total per group. It's gonna be me, Monica, and her, well, should we even say it? But her family, me, Monica.
My aunt and my uncle.
Exactly.
So this is the first trip this year that there are actually other people are paying for their own shit. We're so used to paying for everybody else. Yeah. So it's nice from time to time for people to like cover their own expenses.
Yeah. So in total, I think the trip is gonna cost us about $3,000. Which is not much. I looked at our average spending though, and we spend about $4,500 per month on travel. At least just about $4,500.
Does that include our our Tahoe trips?
Yeah. Everything, including like skiing, snowboarding.
Hobbies, man.
Yeah, we do. So anyways, we're about to pick up our son right now. And if you guys want us to keep making videos together or making videos on a specific topic, just let us know.
I did wanna, I don't know, if we ever have time to talk about it, or have time to record videos and stuff. I really wanted to showcase what it's like to live. I even thought about making a vlog. What it's like to live in Sacramento as a nurse, as parents, you know, as like show what it's like to live here, climate, the city life, you know, everything, pros and cons. So let us know if you guys want us to talk about that.
Yeah, and make sure you guys download our app, please. We would love the support. And subscribe to our channel if you want to find out how much my co-founder's net worth actually is. Because she's never calculated this herself. She's worth a lot of money, okay? But she has no idea how much, because she's never actually took the time to go through every single piece of asset that she owns.
She's probably one of the most richest, most wealthiest nurse I know.
Personally?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I've interviewed a lot of wealthy nurses, so I know a lot of them. In our circle, I see. Yeah, that's very true. All right, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.